Taking Care of Iredell with North Carolina State Representative Jeff McNeely is about to begin. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Iredell County. Hope everybody's sweating out there. Folks, this is not climate change. This is June in North Carolina. Don't freak out. It's even going to get hotter. They got this thing called July, and then it even gets worse. They got this thing called August, and I swear it is bad. That does feel like climate change when August hits, but no, that's just talk. That's just talk. Anyway, hey, got a great show today. Appreciate y'all listening, watching, however you are on. I've got Pat Shannon in the studio.
Hi, Jeff. And
he looks familiar, y'all. He looks so very familiar. The voice that we've heard for a long time. And I'm going to tell on myself, and it'll tell on Pat, too. And I got his lovely wife, Sandra, with us this morning, so glad to have you here in the studio. We're in the sauna, as they call it. We got to get some money taken up somehow or another, do more commercials.
It is a bit warm.
So we can get the air fixed here, y'all.
It's hot.
I'm putting out too much hot air as it is.
It's not the heat, it's the high temperature.
Exactly. That's exactly. And it ain't the humidity, it's just the sweat. So anyway, got Pat with us. So, not only has he worked at the radio station, in my opinion, Pat, but you're a public servant. Maybe never got elected, probably could have. Got more fans than I got, for darn sure. But public servant, because you were here week in, week out, day in, day out, night, day, whatever, and bringing forth the shows that you had on WSIC, WFMX, lived a full life. And one of the reasons I brought Pat back, whenever he got ready to retire, me and actually Senator Vicky Sawyer come up with this idea. We will try to submit him for the Order of the Longleaf Pine, which is one of the highest honors you can get in North Carolina.
That's really impressive.
It is.
I mean, that.
And so don't give out very many of these a year.
I know. I mean,
elite. You're elite.
I can't believe this.
You're elite.
I mean, this thing is really, and I don't want to downplay it. It's I think probably one of the highest awards that is given out, I think, in the state. I mean, from what I've seen, the recipients of it, I don't know what I do.
Well,
what did I do?
And I told Pat,
I don't know what I did.
I told him, I said, Einstein said that 90% of success is showing up, and you did that
every day.
You showed up,
whether they wanted me or not.
You showed up and showed up and showed up. So anyway, me and Sawyer got this great idea, and so she said, "Why don't you take this?" And I said, "All right, I'll take this on. This won't take but a week or two." And it actually took about almost 5 months to get through every channel and through our governor.
You thought you were going to have to wait in a change of administration before it.
No offense, Pat. I was just like, "Oh Lord, please don't let him pass away on me till I get this done." But he's doing fine, y'all. He's doing fine. I think he's going to live a long time. No offense. Well,
I do hope I still do. I thought of similar at a national scale, Rush Limbaugh, who was on our station for a long time, received, I think, the Medal of Freedom, who President Trump awarded. Now, I hope Nancy Pelosi doesn't tear this program up at the end of the program.
We'll see.
Which is what happened there. But he was amazed. He said that was probably the most, and I'm not comparing myself to Rush or this. I mean, to me, this means as much to me as I'm sure that did to him.
Exactly.
To have the state where I was born, where I grew up, and came back to retire, honor me this way. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
I'm very deserving. I couldn't think of anybody else that deserves it more, to tell you the truth. And so we're going to have probably pictures at halftime, as I call it, when we take our break. But just let the audience be able to see this here. And he says, "Hold it higher." Well, that's going to block my beautiful face. How about that? Higher?
Man.
About there? Down a little? About there. No, down a little more. You're going to make it block my face, aren't you? Okay. Well, there you go.
There.
And so I hope you can see that, folks. And we'll read it real quick here. State of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, our governor. I wish I could have waited till Mark Robinson, but I had to do what I had to do.
Well, you have to do what you have to do.
Reposing special confidence in the integrity, learning, and zeal of James Patrick Shannon, I do by these present and confer the Order of the Longleaf Pine with the rank of Ambassador Extraordinaire, privileges to enjoy fully all rights granted to the members of this exalted order, among which is the special privilege to purpose the following: North Carolina toast its select company anywhere in the free world. Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun doth shine, where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. here is down home, the Old North State.
Do I get any discounts with that? Could I take a flight to...
At G&M Milling, we'll cut you a deal. I know that. I don't know about the rest of the retailers out there. Folks, if you'd like to step up and make this more like a coupon certificate and long leaf line.
Can I add it to the senior discounts and the military discounts?
I do think you can get the senior discount anywhere with this now for sure, and it won't ask you for your driver's license. You can show them this.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, so anyway.
But seriously, thank you very much. And to Vicki, our senator. Wow. Sandra, look at this. See, I told you, if you'd marry me, you'd wind up
the accolades,
being married to the recipient of the award.
He promised great things, and he's delivered.
So there you go.
He's a man of his word.
There you go.
We were talking in there earlier, folks, and we'll probably take some calls maybe here a little bit on in the show if somebody would like to call in and just tell Pat and thank you for years and years of service. But inside of all this career, there was 23 years in the Air Force involved in this, plus all the broadcasting history here.
Yeah. I graduated from Troutman High School in 1961, class of 61. Actually was born in Monroe, North Carolina. And I know we probably got other calls. I don't want to kind of run this out too much, but my dad was chief of police in Monroe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was born there in 1943. I'm 81 years old, born January 1943. Dad was with the police department, chief of police, and his assistant was someone you might have heard of, Jesse Helms Sr.
Really?
The senator's father.
Huh.
So when I was in the Air Force, I kept in touch with the senator, was always very kind to me. And when I was stationed in Winston and traveling around the state, he was very, very good to me. But my dad decided to go with the prison department, and we moved to Henderson for a short while, and then wound up in Statesville in 1953 with the local unit here. That's right, we got hard breaks, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay,
sorry about that. We're going to pay the bills to get this air conditioner fixed.
But anyway, wound up here and went to Davie Avenue, which is closed. Yeah. Went to Ebenezer, which is closed. Went to Harmony High School, which is closed. Went to Troutman, which is closed. But fortunately, Mitchell's still open.
There we go. All right.
I kind of stopped there.
Well, I know, like I said, so long, illustrious career here doing broadcasting in Iredell County, but also, like I said, 23 years overseas. You told me all the different places. Right in the middle of Vietnam.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah. You got in the Air Force, what, like 1962?
1962 as a radio and television specialist because I had experience here at WSIC.
That was handy because that kept you from being in a foxhole somewhere.
Exactly. That's right. Even though now... Oh, we got a break, right?
No, we got about a minute.
One minute?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the only time I was in danger if I talked over the beginning of a record. You know how DJs would do that? They'd use the build up in there and say, "Oh, don't do that. I hate it when you mess up the song." That was the only time I really felt threatened.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Except for another time in the Middle East where an Iranian had a gun on me, but that was another story.
Oh, wow. Well, we might get to that in a second. Yeah,
okay,
we want to hear. I mean, like I said, 81 years of a full life and a lot of things have transpired with you here, calling the news, calling the history of Iredell County, but also North Carolina and United States of America. A lot of big things that were put out there. You were right in the middle of, on the edge, giving that report to the people. They hadn't had you, they may not have known.
Who knows?
Who knows? All right, folks, we're going to take a hard break here for a little bit. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned. More with Pat and Sanja. Good times.
Keep it right here. Taking care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely. with your host, NC Representative Jeff McNeely on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, back here for first part of the middle of the show, as we always say when we start doing our fractions around here. Anyway, got Pat Shannon with us, his wife Sonja, and now we got Rocky Lynn in the studio because Rocky was around. And we're just bringing in people and getting them to talk with us and whatnot. And Rocky, I appreciate you coming in here. I know you and Pat have worked back and forth together for a while since you're sort of based here out of the studio, and so glad to have you.
Well, thank you, sir, for having me, and congratulations on all the great things going on that you guys are doing for our country. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Pat Shannon is a national treasure.
Yes, he is.
I mean, from his whole life, he's been in broadcasting. He served our country during the Vietnam time that we had, and I've spent decades here listening to him on the Home Ad show, and he's just a mentor to me and one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my whole life. It's an honor to be here with you.
Gosh, Rocky. Wow. Could you see it? Did you see that? Wait, I just noticed that this Order of the Longleaf Pine is dated April 3rd. Any reason why?
Well, it took one thing.
The 24th of June.
I know. All right, now here's how it goes. I talked to Justin.
Jeff's in government.
Oh, you're right, Rocky. There we go.
Here's the one thing about it too. We did this and then didn't get back into session till like the very last of April. Okay. So I actually acquired this right at the 28th of April, 30th of April, something like that, and I've had it. And we kept trying to figure out when we're going to do this, and talked with Justin Kasepik, the owner, and it's like, we got to get a time, we got to get this figured out, and this, that, and the other. And so it just took a while. And I finally said, all right, we're going to do this. This thing's getting old. I'm going to break it or I'm going to mess it up if I don't get it to Pat soon. So, yes, we've had it in our claws and been trying to figure out when, where, and what, and how to do this. And then vacations come in and this, that, and the other. So anyway, today's the day. That's the best I can tell you.
And by government standards, that was pretty fast.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty quick move. He's right. He's got a point there. We want, it's like a fine wine. We wanted it to kind of mellow and just add flavor.
Well, this is quite an award, and I understand because I wasn't that, for me, I was aware of its importance and who were some of the recipients of the award over the years. But I think since its inception, 23,000 individuals have been selected for this. Sports figures, Andy Griffith, Jim Valvano, Mia Angelou, so many others there that have gotten that over there. And I think Krzyzewski just recently was one. Our former superintendent, I think, received it here recently. So it's quite a alumnus to be with there. I mean, it's quite an honor, and I don't want to, play it down by any. I'm just playing me down. I'm not sure where I fit in with those people.
You fit in fine with those people.
But and Rocky, we've talked about this before because I think you fit this way. To be able to, over the years, you haven't caught up with me being 81 yet, but eventually. You're starting to look like it, but you haven't quite caught up.
I'm definitely right behind you. Yeah.
But is to be able to come back to your home state, to where you went to school, and to do what you love, what you're enjoying, and get paid for it at the same time, it's just amazing. I've really felt blessed, and to have a wonderful wife to share it with, like Sonja. It's just, this is the culmination of a wonderful sequence of events that have come my way that I seriously don't feel I deserve, but I'm going to take it.
I think
I'll take it.
The biggest blessing in the whole world is to do something for a living that you would gladly have done for free.
Yep.
And I think that when you talk about family and home and this wonderful city that we live in, the biggest dream I think I ever had came true when you come back home.
Yep.
That's what I think.
And the people here love you and respect you and want you and are glad you're here with us.
And you can feel it, man. Yeah. You can feel it when you go into JB's Hot Dogs or anywhere in this town. You can feel what a wonderful little community we have here. Blessed to have it and have leaders like you.
Well, that's right, like Jeff McNeely.
Well, and I was talking with Sonja, and she said the first time, Sonja, tell us the first time you ever heard Pat, his voice. Yeah. When was that? Come up to the microphone a little bit there.
Let's see. What did did I say it was? It was about
1965.
1965.
You were 10 years old.
I was 10.
Years old. I was out of the Air Force for about a year, and we had the Santa Claus show on in the afternoon, which we recorded because then we could sell the little transcriptions to the parents of their children talking to Santa.
Oh.
It was a revenue-producing program, beside advertising. And one of the little girls that called in was Sanja Stone.
And I knew I was talking to the real Santa.
That's right.
It was really
That's
Santa.
right. That would have been me.
And I knew that you would be delivering lots of presents to me right down there on Fulton Drive.
If you had been
I was good.
That got cut off real quick. That got cut off real quick.
That was debated. In fact, when I talked to your mom today, that, looking back at the time, you were, okay. You were good. You were with the Grenadier Band
Yes.
at Statesville High School later on, but then I went back in the Air Force and didn't really meet you until later our lives came together. After going through marriages, raising our kids alone as single parents individually, as I did with Emily Kelly, you did with Ashley, who's like a daughter to me now, who might be listening this morning. I think I gave them a heads up.
I hope so. I hope so. So 23 years, right? 22, 23?
23. Well, we've been married about as long as I was in the Air Force.
Okay.
Almost. We had our 22nd anniversary on the 11th of May.
Okay. So 22 years.
And they've known each other for 60 years.
And we dated, but we dated for about 10 years before that because it wasn't like we just wanted to make sure, for our children's sake and stuff. Because we were really, really good friends. We were happy to just dating when we could. And we didn't want to do anything to mess that up.
Gotcha.
So we really gave it a lot of thought. And one evening, as we were sitting on the back of my little log house, I turned to her and romantically said, "You think we ought to get married?"
Wow.
She said, "That's it? That's the best you could do?" And to this day, she still said, that was my romantic proposal at that time. So when I was doing the home ed show and people would call in with anniversaries for their spouses, I said, "Could you tell me how the proposal went?"
I used to love when you would do that. I love that.
Was it really that bad? That I said.
Just trying to measure up.
Just trying to measure up. That's all I was trying to do at the time. But anyhow, it's like. George Bailey said, "It's a wonderful life." It's really a wonderful life.
I had this grand plan that we were going to go to Atlanta, me and my wife, and we were going to go to a football game the next day. State was playing ECU in the Peach Bowl, and I was going to do it on the carriage rides. And so it was New Year's Eve. And so we celebrated 12 o'clock, and we went outside to get in the carriage, and that's where I was going to give her the ring. And the dadgum things quit at 12. I was like, what? And I tried to pay Guy extra money. He wouldn't move those horses. He wouldn't do nothing. So the next day, she got a box of Cracker Jacks. She sent me to get them, and I said, "This is it." And so I went ahead and opened it up, and dropped the ring down in there, and then handed her the box of Cracker Jacks. She goes, "They're open." I go, "Well, I had to have a couple, like that." And so it took her forever to shake that ring out. And I'm sitting there watching that box the whole game. He watching the game, watching this box, because she kicks it over. I'm going, who knows where I'm going to get this ring out of. So anyway, but
that was neat, though. That was neat. It was imaginative. And
it was
some effort.
To a point. But it on the back porch is fine too. I always say, long as you say yes, no matter where you're at and how it went down, it's a good day. It's a good day. So
certainly was for me.
Sure has been successful.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
One of the things, and originally when I retired, Jeff, and Sanja knows the whole story. In fact, she's been yawning during this interview process because she's heard it all. But when I returned, I really had not made plans to stay here. When I was in recruiting service, I wound up, was stationed close by, so I built a log home out in Troutman.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know how the military works. If you want to get transferred, get married or build a home.
Exactly.
So I wasn't married, but I built the home, and sure enough, they closed the recruiting detachment. And so I got transferred, went to Taiwan, went overseas. But when I retired and came back, I came back to actually sell the home. And at the time, came up to the station and met the people here at that time. Art Fincannon was managing the FM, J.D. Benfield, the FM. And it had just been taken over by a new company out of South Carolina, Adventures Communication. And so Warren Penny was the general manager. He said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I've got a GS application in with the Army with their advertising." He said, well, why don't you come in and work with Jeff Corbett for a while? He's doing the morning program and come in and read news with him. And I said, sure. Got 2 minutes? Okay, good. All right. Because before, remember, I could start the break on my own, but now they're hard breaks. So
they're hard breaks now.
So anyway, I said, sure. Gosh, I'd love to do that. So I came in, had a ball with Jeff Corbett. We made up stuff in the morning. I did the news with him. Yeah. And stuff, and we had a really good. Don Woodson was our news director, who never was on the air, but he'd write the news. I'd come in the morning like 5:30, and there was the news already written out for the local news. I got to meet our local representatives, and I was just amazed at our civic leaders. I was just amazed by it. I said, this is kind of what I've been doing for 23 years, is protecting this right that we've got to elect our decision makers and stuff. And so anyway, but the GS appointment came through, went to work for the Army for about 4 months. Love the Army guys. But the civil service is a whole different ballgame.
Oh, I bet.
That is a whole different thing than actual military operations. So as it turned out, I decided to come back up here, and they offered me the management of the 2 stations and said, how about coming up here and get away from before your brain turns to jello down there. So that's what just kind of kept me here, because I knew I'd be moving on from Charlotte from there. So I came back, best move ever made. Then I met Sanja later, and wound up just staying here till
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you've been a blessing to us, and we appreciate you, and we are so thankful and grateful for the service that you provided to our community of reporting news, events, everything. You've done it all. So thank you, Pat Shannon. Thank you so much. Stay tuned.
More Taking Care of Iredell with North.
Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb back up into the mid-90s. Those feels like temperatures once again a little closer to 100. So if you're outside, drink plenty of water, take frequent breaks, go inside, cool off for a while if you have to work outside. It's just all in an effort to keep you safe. And looking ahead, we may get a little better shot at some pop-up showers and thunderstorms by the middle of the week, but staying hot for a while. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
For 42 years, Johnson's Parts and Supply has been your Auto Plus auto parts store. When you need auto parts, think Johnson's Parts and Supply. Your Auto Plus auto parts store, 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
Hey, this is Jeff McNeely, owner of G&M Milling Company in beautiful downtown Lowray. We at G&M hope you come by and see us for all your livestock needs. We stock feeds for all kinds of animals and hay too. We also have seed for a wide variety of forages for your animals. So come on by 4000 Taylorsville Highway, Statesville, or call us at 704-873-5758. We're worth the drive. Thank you again for supporting small family-owned businesses. God bless.
The school year may have ended, but WSIC's Teacher of the Month contest is still in session. Head to WSICnews.com to vote for your favorite teacher. Winners receive prizes from Nina's Boutique and Brighter Smiles.
Hello, friends. This is Dwight with Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, inviting you to join the Gullion family and staff in praising the Lord for 30 years of providing you with trustworthy and inspiring books, Bibles, music, gifts, and supplies. We so appreciate your support and friendship over all these years. With locations in King and Statesville, North Carolina, visit us again soon for encouraging fellowship and essential provisions for your Christian life. Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, where the Bible stands.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Americans generally save nowhere near enough for retirement, so any measure showing an increase is good news. Today, Vanguard's annual tally of 401k plans shows contribution rates rose to a new record last year, with 43% of savers increasing contributions, even in the face of the worst inflation in decades. Employees funneled 7.4% of their salaries into 401ks last year, with employer matches bumping it up to 11.7%. Recent measures of the U.S. job market suggest it is still strong but slowing. A new snapshot paints a rosier picture. World Emblem, largest maker of patches on worker uniforms, tells USA Today its sales are up 13% so far this year, with demand rising each month. Uniform patches are worn by a swath of workers across fields such as hotels, airports, restaurants.
It's bad. It's bad. The very last message says, you, Jeff McNeely, should not be reelected. Tell her to call in.
Yeah.
Now, more Taking Care of Iredell with North Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, back here for the second half of the show. Hey, if anybody would like to call in, Pat and Sanjit, they've already left, but if anybody would like to call in and talk about some of the great things, the moments they've had with Pat, that'd be wonderful. Or anything for that matter. 844-788-3464. That's our studio number. 844-788-3464. Love to hear from you. We'll dive into our regular political banner that we get into every week. And, once again, weird and different things out there. One of the things I wanted to bring to your attention, it looks like we lit up the board there. So, heck far. I don't know where Joe's at, but I'll let him grab him here in a second. Believe it or not, the EPA is now involved in immigration. Go figure that. So, folks, hang on the phone lines. Joe will be back here. I think he's going with Pat. See who we got there, Joe, and what's going on. But anyway, the EPA, the Inflation Reduction Act, is a political gift that basically keeps on giving. It says here that recently the Environmental Protection Agency handed IRA money, which is the Inflation Reduction Act money, to an outfit backing anti-Israel protest. Turns out EPA is also funding groups that oppose immigration enforcement. Now, what does this have to do with the environment? I have no idea. So this was the latest discovery. West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore's office found the law appropriated $3 billion for environmental and climate justice block grants. Got a caller? All right, we'll go ahead and take a caller. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Hey, Jeff, this is William.
Hey, William, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. That was a really nice gesture that you did for Pat, and I tell you, that man is a Statesville, Iredell County Jim. He's like our North Carolina's Paul Harvey or Charles Osgood.
I mean,
that's what I compare him to, because not only has he influenced you and the others to get into broadcasting and radio and journalism, he has also influenced a lot of listeners to tune in and listen
and participate.
Because he's just
call in and participate.
Yeah, and he's just a class act. He really is.
I mean,
and that was a great award that you gave him, and I know that warmed his heart. And that's what it's all about. That's the way Pat Shannon does. I mean, he's just a kind man. He's just not only has he got a knack for the radio voice, but he's just a kind-hearted man. He's a good Christian man.
He is.
And I know you are too, Jeff.
He is. And me and Pat talk a lot when we're not on the air, when I'm here on Mondays. And I may be speaking for him or whatever, but Pat never let it really come on the air. But very conservative man. And we've had great conversations, and I always enjoy him. He's very always up to date on current events and stuff going on, and we chat back and forth a lot. And so it meant a lot to me to be able to get that award for him, just because I felt like we've become really good friends since I've been doing this radio show. Got to know him personally, and just one of the best people you'll ever want to run into. And
well, you're doing a good job, Jeff, and I appreciate you and I respect you a lot.
Well, thank you.
And I just really appreciate what you're doing for Iredell County. And if we could have more people like you, Jeff, and Vicki Sawyer and people like that in the local spectrum, if we get that abroad nationally, this country would get turned around in the right direction. There's no doubt.
Well,
there is no doubt in my mind.
But
there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it's not going to happen overnight.
That's right. Kind of like using the rotary line, service before self, and that's kind of where I'm at with this here. That's one of the reasons I do this job. I just feel like I owe this to not only my community, but my state and my country to participate, and don't ask for nothing for myself, just trying to make things better than I found it, trying to leave them.
Well, we thank you for your services, Jeff, and we definitely have thanked Pat over the years, and I just wanted to call in and let you know that was a nice thing for you to bring him in and do that and present him that award.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm gonna jump off of here and let somebody else maybe come on there and You take care, okay?
All right. Thank you, William. You be good too, sir. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
I think we got another caller, do we? Hey, we got another caller. See if they held for us. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Yes, sir. Mr. Howell. What's up, Doc?
Hey, Mr. Howe. How you doing, sir?
You got it, man. I just wanted to say thank you, William, for saying the kind words to Pat, too. I'm on.
Who?
Now, Pat, it was a predestined moment for Pat to do what he done. God foreknew what he's doing, what he have done all through the years, his testimony, what he gave.
Amen.
And also, Pat is a good Samaritan, just like the good Samaritan. I'm not classifying him with Jesus, but when Jesus came by and helped the man was in need, and the good Samaritan passed by. And thank the Lord, Pat was right here, born right here in Statesville, and we can get the glory out of it. You know what I'm saying?
We were very blessed. The Lord put a good man to tell us the story for the last 50 years. So we were very blessed. Yes.
I'm telling you. Thank you, Brother Jeff. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, sir. See you. All right, we're going to get back here a little bit. And I couldn't think of somebody that was more deserving of the Order of Longleaf Pine than Pat Shannon. Just quality person, and that's what that award's about. Those who have made a difference in this state, in their community, and Pat definitely has done that. Jumping back in a little bit on what we were talking about, like I said, EPA is supposed to select grant makers and partner organizations to spread around this $3 billion of climate justice block grants. EPA tapped Fordham University as a grant maker to distribute $50 million in collaboration with the New York Immigration Coalition and the New Jersey Alliance for Immigration Justice. I don't know what all those stand for, but you just got an idea by listening to what they say. What does immigration have to do with climate? Nothing. Though the progressives say the issue intersect in the oppression of minority groups. So obviously the climate is hotter on minority groups than it is on the rest of us. I don't know. Maybe true. I'm not going to say it's not. I don't know. But according to the EPA, the Fordham and its partners will take an intersectional approach to place frontline communities in positions of power to advance climate justice in disadvantaged and hard-to-reach communities and communities disproportionately impacted by climate change, pollution, and other environmental stressors. So, it says here, perhaps abolishing immigration customs enforcement, ICE, which is what the NYIC, and we go back to that is the New York Immigration Coalition, advocates for. They deem ICE as racist and abusive, and as a member of Congress, at a member Congress in January. The group this month rallied with Democrats in Albany for a bill to prohibit local law enforcement from working with ICE. Now, we in North Carolina have actually passed a bill, and we're trying to get it out of the Senate, where local law enforcement has to work with ICE. So they must work with ICE. And we're trying to get that done. Believe it or not, there's some law enforcement in our state that will not hold people in. They will let them bond out, even if they think they may be here illegally because they cannot prove their citizenship and don't have any proof of ID on them. A lot of times that will let you believe that. So after President Biden's election, the New Jersey Alliance for Immigration Justice called for ending all ICE transfers and all forms of incarceration in New York and New Jersey. Does that count immigration criminals, including Venezuela gang members who prey on the innocent? New Jersey policy victories included state cash assistance for undocumented immigrants. So yes, they're giving them money, and a ban on local government contract renewals with ICE, with immigration. As Mr. Biden talks tough on border security, all of a sudden, his EPA is funding groups that are seeking to undermine immigration. This is no surprise. The IRA money, and that goes back to the Inflation Reduction Act, is being misspent. But we can't help wondering what the administration is trying to fund the resistance to the future of a Trump administration. So $3 billion of your tax money is going to fund these block grants to give out to different groups who are doing everything they can to oppose us trying to get people legally to immigrate into our country. They would much rather go ahead and try to support people that have come here illegally. So I just want you to think about that. especially as the Trump-Biden debate is coming up. Because constantly I notice this with the Biden administration. With the right hand, they're over here showing you one puppet show, but the left hand under the table, they're doing a totally different puppet show, and they're usually working against the one on the right-hand side. So whatever great things you may think are happening, somewhere over there on the left, it's not so great. They're combating it. And they do this all the time with their climate leases. You know, it's funny. They said they opened up all these leases, the Department of Interior, for drilling in the Gulf. And then the EPA on the other side put an injunction on all the leases till they could do more research on the environmental impact that this more drilling would have. So 1 minute it looks like, hey, we're going to be able to probably have more domestic petroleum products, fuel and whatnot. And then on the other, no, we're not. So, you know, typical of what I've seen with the Biden administration. It's all about having the press headlines, but the real rubber hits the road. That's when really they're not doing what they say. And this administration can talk about all the truth and all the justice they want, but it's a warped type of truth and justice, folks. I just don't believe it. So we'll see what $3 billion kind of hole that digs for us into the issues we have, because to me, it's just going to mean that more immigration illegals are going to go to the places where it looks like they're being supported and taken care of, and that would happen to be New York and New Jersey. So I hope they're ready to make sure they take care of these people when they show up. All right, stay tuned. Got a hard break right now. Got to pay some bills. We'll be right back for the last part of the show. Call in if you'd like. All right, hang tight.
We'll be back. It's Taking Care of Iredell on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Hey, we're back here with the last part of the show. I think we got a caller. Joe's talking to him now. We're going to see if we can bring him on. Hey, speaking of that, got a presidential debate coming up on Thursday, and this should be interesting. And the stakes are high, and things you ought to watch for. Is Biden showed up? Is he in a bad mood and angry right off the get-go? Or a lot of times, supposedly, they're using Adderall to get him into his attention span to make sure he's alert and ready to go, and that's the side effect of it. If you've noticed, some of his speeches have been like that. And is Trump going to play more in the middle? Is he going to be a calmer version of himself? Should be interesting. Let's take a caller real quick and see who we got here. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Hey, Jeff, this is Johnny.
Hey, Johnny. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. I understand that in the budget that you guys recently passed, the funds are available for the school scholarships for
opportunity scholarships.
Free choice on school. There you go.
Yep.
Where's the process on the budget now?
Well, I'll tell you what, and that was the next thing I was going to bring up as I end the show. Real quick, we came to an impasse with the Senate. And that's kind of sad in my opinion because, we're all Republicans working together supposedly, but we came to an impasse. They just didn't want to negotiate no more. So we went ahead and worked up our own budget and sent it to them. And I guess we'll see what they think about that. So the word on the street is they're going to do their own, send us one. Well, I don't know, but they're down there now. Vicky was going to try to come here today for Pat's thing, but she had to go to Raleigh because I'm pretty sure they got session at 1 or 2 o'clock today. So this will be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, we're fully funding the wait list on Opportunity Scholarship. That's about $400 million. We actually got raises for teachers, not much, but some raises for state employees. Understand that we did a budget last year, and it was for the 2 years. This is more of a supplemental budget to go along with that. So we were able to actually give a little bit more than we did last year. So we're bumping a lot of people. So we got that. Also took a look at some of our infrastructure needs that we're needing to do. And see, the problem is a lot of our projects have come back in over budget because of inflation. The aggregates, concrete, asphalt, block, wood, you name it, wood's come off a little bit. A lot of the concrete products, stuff like that, has not come off. And so, and labor, of course, too. So all these things have caused our projects to come in a little bit overdue. So we've had to continually kick money back in to finish the projects that we started.
Yeah. Does it have to go to the governor to be approved, or
It will, and we figure he'll veto it just like he does everything else. And we have the numbers to override it. Unfortunately, our override might not be till August. A lot of people are going to be gone in July, and so we'll see how this whole thing plays out. And the Senate may not choose to come along at all, and so we may go back in August, September, and continue to fight again. I don't see us doing much in the month of January. January, yeah, that's next year. July, I mean. Might not do much in the month of January either, but don't see us doing much in the month of July, which is going to make it tough on the people on the wait list, and I apologize. Money will come. May have to pay now, and we reimburse some of that later. But, make that choice for your kids and figure out the best way for y'all to do it. And I hate this, unfortunately, a lot of times education and politics get caught up in each other.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, got child care involved too. There's a child care deal that we've kind of put together to help supplement with the government expiring on June the 30th. So a lot of good things. I mean, really did try to fix the problems that kind of have arisen from last year once the budget was done till now. Yeah,
my daughter's in tier 2, so my grandkids were not approved. So I'm just curious where that stood, and I appreciate your help on that.
Well, I'm all for school choice. I'm also for public school. I'm for all the schools, for finding the best education for your kid. That's the name of the game. Parents, figure out what your child needs, and let's figure out how we can get you there.
Okay. Thank you much.
Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you. Okay, we'll take that. Everybody's wanting to talk. I think. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning. Who's this?
This is Ronald Hook. How are you today?
I'm good. Well, how you doing?
Doing fine. I got a little project for you.
Okay, what you got?
How about getting the Ten Commandments back in school? One state's already got it done.
Well, I tell you, we tried to work on this, putting up the phrase that's on all of our currency, "In God We Trust." We tried putting that up in the House and the Senate chambers, and we ran into a roadblock on that. But I've got no problem with putting the Ten Commandments. Not so much, not saying we wouldn't put the actual words in there, but try to work the curriculum around them. And let's teach them instead of some of the other woke things that are being taught.
Yeah. Well, it give you something to work on. If you can get them back in, that'd be great.
Well, I think just, I can remember doing a prayer every morning. We did a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. And that was all the religion that some kids got. And so we're not even doing that. And so I don't know. I struggle to find how somebody gets through their day without knowing that Jesus is there to save their soul and God is there to lead them along.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you and see what you can do.
I'll try. I'll keep working. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, getting off, like I said, we're going to see what happens with the debate. This should be interesting. I have noticed the last couple of speeches that Biden gives, if you notice, he gets a little wound up and a little agitated maybe. Looks like he's kind of a little mad at everybody. Well, like I said, Adderall has a side effect of that. And I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm just saying beware and watch. It may explain a little bit to you. Can they give it to him every day? I don't know. It might wind him too tight. Maybe just when they need to, kind of like taking a toy out of a box and winding it up and watching it go. Then you get bored with it and you put it back in the box. So anyway, and we'll see what Trump, like I said, we'll see if he comes out all fire and brimstone or if he comes out to a mellower self to try to reach the middle. A lot of people, they think he's a mean man. They think he's this, they think he's that. I will tell you this, when you think about hiring a lawyer, do you think about going out? And I'm not saying nothing wrong with good, kind people, but when you're going to hire that lawyer who has to go into a judicial system that seems to be kind of on a weird tilt some days, do you want that sweet old lady or guy, or do you want the guy that's nobody really kind of likes, but yet he seems to move and get things done? Sometimes politicians fall into that. Sometimes myself falls into that same category. Sometimes you have to get a little bit firm to get things done, to do the right thing. So I want you to think about that. Maybe means not great, but maybe it means sometimes what it takes to get the job done. But you don't want to be so mean, as in Joe Biden's case, that you can't control yourself because you're getting jacked up on Adderall. So this is going to be an interesting debate. The mics are off when the other one's talking. We'll see how that works. They're probably going to be shouting at each other no matter what. So this should be good entertainment and maybe give us some enlightenment to who we might want to have as our next president, if it's not already obvious to you. So getting back a little bit on the budget that we just talked about on the air that Johnny called in, a lot of things going on. Tried to really do a lot to help offset the inflation of Biden economics, which I think is probably one of the worst sets of economic laws I've watched as far as learning and growing up and being a ag econ major from NC State. Never seen kind of economics that they put forth. It's not Keynesian, that's for sure. But anyway, we will try to help get this done. We hope that the Senate will come along with us. We're really and truly only about $20-30 million apart. And folks, that's a pretty small number in government work when you're talking about a $31-32 billion budget. So hopefully we can get these little things ironed out and be able to help our people, our state employees who work hard. They really do. There's a lot out there, good people doing great jobs for us, and we appreciate them. And they're struggling. And all of our projects we go to, just like projects that y'all go to, it costs more. And it's just eating up tax dollars money-wise like crazy. So understand we're trying to do the best we can, trying to juggle money, put it here, there, and whatever. With that, housing prices in the month of May hit an all-time high. So, once again, people are kind of stuck where they're at. They can't move to a different house. They can't afford the cost of a new house. Interest rates are out the roof. So this is really interesting. The average price in the United States is around $420,000 for a house. Think about that. That's the ones that are for sale, $429. We talk about affordable housing. We talk about this. There is no such thing. Unfortunately, we've done so many things wrong, economic-wise, spending-wise, that we've put these products for people in the houses, the car, almost out of reach. And, people, I think the next thing you're going to see proposed from the Biden administration to come up with affordable housing is take it from a 30-year mortgage to a 35 or a 40-year mortgage, which you'll never pay off. You'll move first or whatever. So they're going to figure out some way to get your payment down. But my God, what will that house cost you when it's finally done? Can you think of what a 40-year mortgage would cost? A 30-year, you can usually figure 3 times to 4 times what you spend. So if it's a $400,000 house, then you're probably looking at close to $1.2 to $1.6 million payoff. If you go to 40 years, you're talking over $2 million payoff. So this is crazy. Anyway, tune in Thursday night, see what happens. Let's go ahead and say our prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, dear Lord, we thank you. We thank you for all you do. We thank you for Pat Shannon and Sanja and the service that he's provided to our community. Pray you bless him, Lord, and watch over them. Bless us all. Lead and guide us as we go forward and make us to do wise decisions in your will. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Folks, hope you have a great week. Stay cool and take care.
You've been listening to North Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely. Join Jeff again next Monday morning at 11:05 for Taking Care of Iredell on News Talk WSIC.